In part 4 of section 22, we're going to be looking at what's called summation notation. I'm going to use an example here to help introduce the concept, and then following this we'll have a definition and more examples. So this first example says the following table represents the average cost of raising a child born in the United States in 2006 to a middle income family. So the table that you see here was developed back in 2006 as a means for predicting how much money is going to be spent to raise a child. So back in 2006, they used previous data to then determine, based on things like inflation, just the general cost of raising a child gets more expensive as a child gets older. You might look back on your own life and think about how much more expensive your life became going from, say, elementary to junior high. You had more extracurriculars. You had larger clothes to have to purchase. There's just a variety of things that start to creep up into the budget as you get older, and certainly more so when you get into high school. So over here, we're going to call year 2006, we're going to call that year number 1. 2007 is year 2. 2008 is year 3. So on and so forth, until I get down here to the bottom where I'm going to have year 16, 17, and 18. So just in lieu of writing all those numbers down, I've got the dot 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 ellipses as a way to represent that the patterns continue. And on the right hand side, if I want to treat this like a sequence, because this is not a continuous function, this is just individual values that are assigned to each of these years. So then I can call that first average cost A1, then A2, then A3, until I get all the way down here to the bottom where I would have A16, A17, as well as A18. Now what we're asked to do here is it says, what is the total cost of raising a child born in 2006 from birth through age 17? So what I'm being asked to do is take A1, add A2, add A3, and add all the numbers in between until I get to A16, A17, and also A18. So that's going to be 18 different values that I would have to add together. With a calculator, you could be diligent about adding all these values together, and the grand total for this is going to be a little over $250,000. $260,700 is what it would cost to be able to raise a child born in 2006 all the way through the age of 17, which would be a senior in high school, is what they're getting at here. So rather than having to write A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4, so on and so forth, there is a type of notation called summation notation, which is going to be utilizing one of the Greek symbols, sigma, from the Greek alphabet, and we're going to be using the uppercase sigma, and what we're going to do with this is we are going to represent the addition of A1, A2, A3 all the way through A18 in a much more condensed, concise, efficient manner. There is a pattern to all of these terms. They're all A something, A1, A2, A3, so on. So I'm going to call A subscript I the general term. Now we're starting with the very first term. So I'm going to say underneath the sigma, I equals 1. This is the initializing step. This tells me where I'm supposed to initially start with my summation. And then I also have to be able to indicate where I'm supposed to stop. So if I start with A1, I would like to eventually stop with A18. So then I write 18 up here at the top. So what we have here with this summation notation, so to speak, is 100% equivalent to what we had up there all expanded out. These are equivalent statements. Now the cool thing about this type of notation is that you don't necessarily have to start from the very first year. So let's say that you really only wanted to focus on, I don't know, maybe the high school years. So maybe these last 4 years where you are a freshman through senior in high school. So if you're just focusing on those, then I could indicate that by saying AI, but I'm not going to start with I equals 1. I would start with I equals 15 and then run all the way through 18. And so this would be a way for me just to work on these final 4 years. This is known as summation notation.